Before we get started with the first episode, I would like to note that we are relatively new to the podcast style recordings, and it is going to be rough in the beginning. We'd like to first feel free to leave feedback in the comments. Additionally, my microphone quality appears to be a bit rough. I did not realize quite how bad it was until I am editing this. So please bear with me, and we will hopefully improve that in the future when I can afford to get a new mic. Welcome to the Lower Class Content Podcast. I am your co host, Keith, and my other co host is.
Okay. Hi, I'm Dom. I'm the other co-host. You can call me Dom, Dominic. I don't care what you call me. Works
Yeah,
fine.
this is his first time doing a podcast. Uh, I've
That's not true. That's false, actually. I'll have you
okay,
know.
well, okay. I guess it's his first time as a co-host. I don't know. I'm not sure what. I'm
No,
not sure what it
I
is.
was lying through my teeth. I've never done this before, as you could probably tell just by how not awkward I'm being.
Mr. Audience, or wait, the I should say audience, but there maybe some no misters in there, but the audience, example A,
I'm gonna just say listeners. For all the
listeners.
listeners out there, that rolls off the tongue a lot
That's
easier, in my
true.
opinion.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm used to the radio, used to college radio, where we just go for all the zero listeners out there. But
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that probably has
yeah,
something to do with it.
we'll have another person. Hopefully, if he's not already sleeping or doing whatever because he forgot the podcast, we'll have another person hopping on the podcast later. Um, who also him and I did college radio stuff together. We had some radio show stuff, and he was really excited to hear that we were doing a podcast and wanted to join us. Yeah, he's not here. That's how unbelievable. But we haven't found him on Tarkov yet, which um, we'll touch on later in this episode if he gets here. Maybe if he doesn't, but he doesn't know that yet, actually. So that's gonna be the fun part. But you guys will know before him, sort of, as far as the video goes for this podcast. So into our first topic. What is LCC? The lower class citizens, not the lower class content, which is the channel for the lower class citizens. So the lower class citizens, and maybe Dom will have some input here. Basically, it's just a group of friends. We play together on video games. Sometimes spend some time, um, activities in real life too. One of the weirdest things I know, people on the internet spending time together in person. But I mean, most of us actually know each other in real life before we got here. But yeah, we just casual group of gamers hanging out, all part of the lower class citizens, and periodically, we bring new people in as we see fit. But that's kind of what we are, and we figured we'd go into podcasts because we were talking a lot while playing games like Farming Simulator, as we'll talk about, and we're like, man, this is such a what do we call it? It's a slow paced game, whatever you'd call it, something along those lines. So we just end up talking about miscellaneous stuff a lot. Like, oh, we're basically doing a podcast without recording it. But yeah. Well, do you have anything to add to that, Dom?
I gotta be honest, my mind is kind of empty at the moment. I am still listening to what you're saying, I swear. I'm not zoning out. I. Okay, hold on. So starting back, yes, we kind of founded this idea to piggyback onto what Keith was saying from our farming simulator days, because we would spend many late nights just playing farming simulator instead of going to bed for work in the morning.
Or school for those of us who did that instead.
Yeah, you had the college thing you were doing, but for me it was just work. and I guess it was just kind of an idea that popped into our head because I like to listen to podcasts at least
Yeah,
most days during my workday.
I do too.
Um,
I probably won't. I probably won't enjoy listening to this one, so I won't listen to it after. I should say after I edit it. If we
yeah.
if we end up actually doing much editing, because there may not be much aside from just changing the volumes of people. But yeah, no, I can't imagine listening to myself. It was hard enough in the radio when I had to have the monitor going back into my ears. But
On a side note, you can edit this out in post if you want. We have a drug rings channel. What
we're
the hell
not
is that
gonna
for?
we're not gonna edit that one out actually, because that's gonna make this even more funny. But that one I believe. Let me quickly check. I believe that one is for um that one is for the
Oh,
Schedule
is
One.
that?
There we go. It's for
Yeah, I was gonna
Schedule One.
say, is that for Schedule One? Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I happened to look over because I'm kind of
just
doing idly. Yeah,
don't don't pay too much attention to the role name
the role
for Schedule
names.
One. For the listeners out there, for reference, almost all the names of our channels and roles are jokes played off of whatever the topic is. Whether, like for example, Schedule One, the channel is drug rings. For Farming Simulator, the channel's farmers only. And then I think the role for Farming Simulator, let me quickly check. It
Just says farming sim.
is it? No, it's
The-
farming.com
How do you
is
How do
the
you see
role.
role?
You gotta click on your on your user. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, and then you gotta find the one that correlates. I have a both of us actually have a lot of roles, so
Yeah.
we play a little bit of
Are
games actually. It
relevant
appears
or relevant?
RL event.
Relevant.
R
Oh,
R
RL real event. Oh God.
yes, real life event. Yes. Again,
Ah.
because not everyone in this community we know in person. We restrict the in person event organization channels
Yeah.
to people we know in person for obvious reasons.
Fries brains?
What?
Fries brains?
Fries brains? Fries brains. What could fries brains be? Uh, fries
For
brains.
context, listeners, I'm currently reading through the roles that I have been given on my own profile here in the Discord
Oh,
server, and
you know
I'm
what?
just
That's the
confused.
sandbox games one. Because of all the times that you're sitting there in a game like Stormworks going, I'm trying to
Oh.
figure out how this is working, but I can't figure it out.
Could you change those per person, or is that just a general?
No, that's
No,
just
that's just a
across the
general.
board. But it is named specifically based off of that scenario of in almost every sandbox game I've played with you. Um, you're trying to figure out some kind of logic that I learned this stuff in college, and and Dom over here is trying to figure it out with no education on the topic. Kind of, that was one of the crazy things about Stormworks. What was just the amount of stuff I learned in college that applied to it. Crazy game, a lot of fun actually, until you get frustrated. But then it's still sort of fun. It's almost part of the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah. Now that we're on the podcast, Dom feels like learning about the server. It kind of tells you a
We're
little bit
not
about him.
we're not gonna not acknowledge the fact that I pay zero attention to this server until I've got nothing else to do, and then I'm just idly looking around.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so where we are now, do we have anything more to add for what LCC is?
Oh, right, that was the topic.
Yes, that is our topic. It's I actually, you can't see it because but the listeners can see that that is our topic. What is LCC?
You telling me that the listeners get to see something that I don't get to see?
Yeah, they get to
I'm a
see that our topic is
co-host, damn it.
here.
I should have perms to see this.
Here. We'll fix this. Bam! I set the channel topic.
Oh, that's boring. I'm not interested now. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Welcome, listeners, to Dom.
Oh, don't worry. They'll get their full taste of it once this becomes a regular occurrence. This
Oh,
is
absolutely.
episode number 1 after all, so I'm
Episode number
rusty.
1. I expect it'll be just like college radio, all 0 listeners out there. At least for the first
Oh,
few.
that's what you said earlier. I got to be honest, I didn't hear the full thing, so I was
Uh,
very confused, but now it makes way more sense.
yeah, all 0 listeners out there. Hopefully, eventually, it gets to all 1 listeners out there. But
Yeah.
yeah, I haven't ran a show for when was the last time? You know what? I think the last time I did it was during a Vinyl-a-thon, a college radio foundation event where the college radio stations play vinyl for 48 hours straight. Um, I unfortunately was not able to be there the entire 48 hours this last time because it aligned with Alumni Day where I had a surprising amount of responsibilities for some weird reason. Um, yeah, giving student government speeches and all that stuff. Crazy. It, updates, not speeches. But either way, yeah, it was definitely interesting. But yeah, that's just kind of I'm a little bit rusty, even though I do have some experience with this kind of stuff on the radio side of things. But yeah, uh, yeah, I don't think there's a heck of a lot more. The listeners. If we end up getting listeners from this first episode, I'm sure they'll ask more about what is LCC. But now we'll move on
That's always,
to yeah, yeah,
that's always something we can address too in the future. We could do like
absolutely.
questionnaires or
It
something, or Q&A. That's what they're called, Q&As.
we could indeed do a Q&A. But if you guys have any questions, just send it in the comments. Send it in the comments. That way we know we actually have people watching these. Um,
I'm gonna
and
be bad cop for this situation. Don't comment. Don't do it. Don't you dare do it. In fact, if I see a single comment, I am going to do something probably hilarious. Who knows? You'll never know because you're not going to do it.
in translation, it will be absolutely hilarious, and he is telling you to do it. So go do it.
That's not a
I
trend. No, I'm supposed to be bad. We're doing good cop, bad cop here. I know I never mentioned anything about this in the planning, but this is impromptu. It's fine. It'll be
well, this is
perfect.
exactly the best part. Best part. Okay, so what are our plans for the lower class content podcast? Um, Actually, you know what? I should update the topic. That's our new topic.
Oh, good. Now, when I forget what we're talking about, I can just look over there if I remember to do that too.
Oh, you know what? That's funny because uh I
Can you not change it back
I
again?
I couldn't fit it on on the header on the recording.
Oh, that works then, I guess.
uh, but I can fit it on the header for the topic. It just gets cut off, but it's fine. It's fine. I just can't fit
Yeah.
it on the recording. But it's fine.
Oh,
I cut it down to plans for LCC podcast. It's close enough.
yeah, it's close
So
enough.
I guess we'll kind of start. What's the point of lower class content? It's pretty much just going to be um, we have some projects that we are working on that you'll hear more about in the future, and so this channel is going to be where we give updates on those projects. Um, Eventually, recording game footage, recording trailers for some of those projects when they get to states, we're ready to show you guys, and yeah, so but there's the LCC podcast is more just us talking about, having some kind of discussion about whatever topics we feel like for the week, because it will be weekly. We are planning weekly podcasts. This first one is being recorded on a Thursday. It will go out um,
We could
probably
do it
tomorrow.
like, oh, okay. That's not at
Probably
all what I
tomorrow.
was thinking.
It's probably going to go out tomorrow because I'm going to edit it tonight, hopefully, and then schedule it for tomorrow. But starting next week, and this is something that Don may not remember. I know he was in the chat when we talked about it, but Don may not
I've
remember this.
I've got
Um,
an impeccable memory.
yes. Starting next week, we will actually be recording on Tuesdays, and we'll explain why in a moment. But then we will plan on uploading on Thursdays. An editor's note: we decided after recording the first episode to record whichever day of the week makes sense based on everyone's schedules, then upload the next week to give more time for editing. Because that was kind of my thought originally, but then I realized that recording and editing and uploading all at the end of the day on Thursdays is going to be a little bit crazy. But I was just kind of thinking most of the podcasts I listen to are like Friday, Saturday, maybe Monday podcast, but there's not a heck of a lot that I listen to on Thursdays. So I figured, that would be a decent time slot to put it at. I also only work Monday through Thursday, which makes it even easier for recording purposes because I don't have to worry if we end up going over on time, which at least won't happen much in the beginning. As we go on, I'm sure it'll start to happen more because this will be planned as a 1 hour podcast for now. That being said, if in the future we end up switching to live podcasts, those will happen on Thursdays again. But the reason for switching to Tuesdays is because one of the other founders, for reference, I'm one of the founders of the Lower Class Citizens. One of the other founders of Lower Class Citizens doesn't work on Wednesdays, which means he works early in the morning, and so he can't stay up late enough for these podcast recordings on Thursdays, but he can on Tuesdays. So we're looking at starting next week, moving our recordings to Tuesdays. That way he can join us. Um, but yeah, that's kind of the plan right now. It's going to be once a week, targeting 1 hour, and two co-hosts, Dom and I, and then each week we are going to have at least one guest. Now, certain guests may join us more frequently, um, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Currently, all pre-recorded, and eventually, if there's enough interest, let us know in the comments if you are interested. Uh, we may start doing these live. Um, Probably won't do that until we get enough viewers, just because it's not going to be worth it. But yeah, let us know what you think. If you have any suggestions, feel free to make them. We're new to the YouTube podcast side of things, and at least making them, and we'd be happy to get some input. At least I would. I don't know about Dom. He's usually a bit more picky with who gets input from.
Huh?
Right? Yeah.
What? Yeah, 7.
Okay. Great.
I got to be honest, I didn't hear the question.
Um, well, it wasn't exactly a question. It was a statement that I was expecting a response from. But
That's what I said, a statement.
yeah. Um, so I was telling them that to give feedback, because I'm always open to feedback, but you may not necessarily always be open to feedback, but I'm always open to feedback.
Oh yeah, no, it's not my problem. I just you're the one that accepted feedback, so technically you should
Yep,
deal with that. You know.
yep, yep.
No, I'm kidding. Feedback is fine. Feedback is good. Feedback tells us if we're doing good, doing bad, doing terrible, doing mediocre, or if we're just flying along the road. I guess.
Indeed, indeed.
It's not really
Why
too
can't we
much to
get
say about it.
this
Go
other
ahead.
person? Why is he not here? Why is he not here? He's an entire 28 minutes late, and he's still not here.
Well, they always save the best for last, they say. There'll be about 5 minutes left in the recording session by the time he shows up. And that'll be the best 5 minutes of the whole show.
There we go. I just pinged him, letting him know we have a topic for him, so maybe he'll consider joining us to have his own topic. Um,
It doesn't even say he's online on
no, it doesn't.
Discord.
Um, does it say it on Steam? Let me quickly check. No, he's offline on Steam too. You
How
know
much
what?
do you want to bet he went to bed?
I I don't think he went to bed yet. I think he'd probably be up for at least a little bit longer. That being said, I would not be surprised if he got roped into a family thing again. Because as you know, with family stuff, until you move out of your family's house, um, it you don't have a heck of a lot of option when it comes to being roped into family stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I guess we're going to this family member's house for this thing. Oh, okie dokie.
Yeah.
I guess that's what we're doing. So I bet you that's probably what happened with Elijah, and then yeah, that's probably what happened. I would expect him to be online still, unless he was incredibly tired after work today, which is possible, but he doesn't normally get tired after work. But yeah, moving on to our next topic: top three favorite games.
By starting.
Yeah, you're starting.
Oh. I would love to start this topic because you know me, I am a habitual gamer. In fact, I spend just about every waking moment I have when I'm not working or doing other important daily life tasks to play video games.
It's true fact.
That's not to say I'm a shut-in, because I'm not. I do get a bit of sun as I'm a little on the darker side now. I've got a hell of a tan line from my watch as a side note, which is pretty
He
funny.
he does.
And my ring, actually. My oh god, top three favorite.
I
I'd
know it can be
say
quite difficult when you play a lot of games.
yeah, I think in total, let me just pull it up so I'm not pulling a random number out of a hat. How do I see total games on Steam?
Good question.
Oh,
I'm seeing
probably library
yeah. I have
collection.
81 games on Steam, and I know I have some more games outside of Steam, but not a heck of a lot. But
Uh,
and I'm not I
oh,
don't do
oh,
a heck of a
here
lot
it
of
is.
gaming, but
I have 159 games on Steam plus like 4 or 5 that are not Steam games.
yeah,
So 164, give or take, is how many I have on my computer. And that
yeah,
doesn't include what I have on my Xbox. I've also got a couple mobile games on my phone that I don't really play anymore. Needless to say, I play a lot of games. I guess the question I would ask is what type of ranking are you going for top three? Like top three most played, top three that I enjoy spending my time on, or top three that I end up playing more often than others?
I would say top three you enjoy spending your time on, particularly consider to say like if you had to be stuck with only these games for say 6 months to a year. Consider it that way, because
Oh,
like obviously certain games are very fun for about a week or two, and then they stop being fun. Obviously there's games like that. You still remember them being good because you spent 2 weeks and really enjoyed it, but if you played for more than that at a time, you're not really going to enjoy it. But think of like games that you could actually enjoy for extended periods of time.
see, that's tough because I have a very short attention span. So I'll play a couple games on a bender for a few weeks and then I'll probably never touch them for months after that. So
That's
this
actually fair. I guess
particularly is tough.
I think you know what I may have to. I may have to restructure the question because now I think this doesn't work for a lot of story-based games because certain people will just play an entire story in a week, and once you play the story in a lot of games, there may not necessarily be a lot to do after that.
Yeah.
So I guess
I
that's
think
probably not the best way to put it.
I think if you just
Um,
rephrase is what is the top 3 current games that are on your favorites?
yeah, that probably is a better way to put it. We'll start with that.
Oh, maybe this could be a recurring subject to see if our gaming interests have changed throughout the course of the podcast.
Indeed, indeed.
That's that would be an interesting thought. Anyway, to answer the question and stop going around in a loop because I've already talked to you in a circle. I would say probably number one right now is definitely Vintage Story because I've been playing that nonstop for like the last 100 hours of
I
time I've been on my computer.
I had a feeling that'd be the first one. Yep.
Well, you and I have been playing that one a lot.
It
Um,
it is quite fun. I do enjoy the depth it has.
yeah.
I
For
have
the
not put
listeners,
quite as
the
much time into understanding the game as you have though. But
yeah. For the listeners that haven't heard of the game called Vintage Story, think of standard block survival game, but with a way more in-depth system in terms of how things work, how operations can be run, or how the survival itself is completely different. So the
for
only go ahead.
for another reference, listeners, um, this game is the reason why Dom no longer refers to Minecraft. He refers to other block game because of just how much more interesting Vintage Story is, or at least can be if you're interested in the depth, which by the variety of sandbox games that Dom likes to play, I would say he is interested in the depth in most cases.
Yeah. Now, that's not to say I don't like other block game, just because I don't use the actual name anymore, which is entirely irrelevant. Because I do have a realm on Minecraft specifically that I still have open and actively. I'm gonna leave that part out. I do play other block game from time to time, but uh, predominantly Vintage Story is what I spent way more time on, especially because we have like 100 mods, give or take, which
Yeah,
improves the quality
almost
of the
every
game a
single
lot too.
time I join, I go, "Why does it say there's another mod?" And he goes,
It doesn't say
your
that. I
game's
don't know what
lying
you're
to
talking
you."
about. Yeah, you're. I do say that, don't I? That's not
Yeah,
actually real. That's just
it
me
actually
flying.
it'd be very similar to the thumbnail as far as how this interaction goes. When you guys get, uh, I made up the thumbnail last night, and it based off this same interaction, which happens almost every single time we play games for some reason.
Yeah, I like gaslighting people. It's a big pastime of mine, so I kind of
Yep.
have many chances to do it, and I take those chances without hesitation.
Yep.
So that's game number one, Vintage Story. Looping back around to the topic. Uh, Number two, this is hard because I have a lot of games that I like to play, and it's not that I don't have ones that I play way more, especially if I look at my hours on some of these games. It's what does my heart hold dear?
Yep.
Because if I had to pick a second one, it would probably be Arma 3.
Yep.
To be perfectly honest, I haven't played this game. Oof. Let me actually look when the last time I opened it was. March. I haven't played the game since March, but I have almost 1,000 hours into it, which is more than any other game that I have in my library, all 164 of them, I think I said earlier.
Interestingly, I have a game like that too, that I have significantly more hours in. We'll get to that
Yeah.
later.
Arma, for anybody that doesn't know that's listening out there, Arma 3 is like military sandbox type game. There is a campaign. I personally haven't played through a lot of it. I spend most of my time in the what's called the Zeus editor, which is essentially like sandbox. You can build your own missions. You can add like scripts and stuff to make certain, like you can make cutscenes. You can turn it into its own campaign essentially. And the amount of creativity that you could possibly do from Zeusing and Arma is not only very appealing to me, but I made a lot of different missions, and I've made a couple of videos about the game too that I realizing I haven't continued in like 2 years.
Yeah,
That's irrelevant. But
that's actually a good little uh segue or whatever to you actually have a YouTube channel that you periodically upload to.
I was gonna try not to plug the channel, but yeah, I do.
Yeah,
I didn't want to take it up to be like, oh, hey, podcast that my friend made. Also, YouTube channel, huh?
yeah, I mean, hey, we support our people on the LCC here, and so if Dom decides it makes sense, we'll throw a link to his channel in the description as long as I
Oh, yeah,
remember.
no, we can include the channel name. We can do the link. I don't mind. I have a few videos. Yeah, 42. I just looked at the number.
Yeah,
I thought it was way less than that. I am certainly by no means a professional YouTuber in any meaningful way.
he's
I
also
don't get
like
a
over 6 months behind.
No, it's only 5. Get it right.
Is it five or is it more?
I'm looking at it right now. It says 5. The last video I uploaded was Battle for Fallujah when we played squad, and it
and
was 5 months ago.
uh, yeah, I guess okay.
I
I thought there
Oh, it was,
was one
yeah, it was
previously,
January of
but
this year. It's fine. It was almost February actually when I posted that.
if subscribing to his channel, it's a long term investment. You're not gonna get payoff right away. You'll get videos to watch eventually.
Yeah, well, there is plenty there to start with. I will point out to listeners, if you do watch my channel, just kind of like how you're probably going to get a sense as this podcast goes on. I don't have a lot of inflection. I'm a very monotone speaker. I don't have a lot of deviation in how I speak. And it's been pointed out to me that it would probably help if I had a little bit of variety in my tone. I don't. I just kind of go with it.
Yeah,
So I'd say that's my only warning to you if you decide to go look that up. It's just I'm very monotone and not at all loud and boisterous unless I'm comfortable. Like if I'm talking with my friends, I'm sure we'll find out. I can be loud and boisterous, but it's not usually common or constant rather.
yeah. This is
Anyway,
indeed true.
game number 2, Arma 3. That's what we were talking about.
Yep.
I have spent so much time making missions, perfecting missions. I've made more than a few videos. I think I've made a total of 5. If I'm no, sorry, it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5, I think, because I titled them 4.5 because I ran out of material to work with, and I think part of it was it got um Arma 3 does have quite a few bugs. I mean, it was made in God, what year was that game made? 2013?
There's a lot of games that were made in 2013 that are
Oh, I
currently
was spot on. That came out 2013.
yeah. There's
So
a
that
lot
game
of games
is
that came out in
already
2013
13
that are
years old.
struggling right now with bugs.
Yeah. But
Or
I mean,
just
it's
struggle
also
with
just
updates because their engines can't support the features they're trying to add anymore.
yeah. But I don't remember what I was talking about. Oh yeah, I made 4.5 videos because there was a bug that happened, so I kind of had to roll back a little bit. And
Yeah.
so I put out half a video on it instead of the full. I try to go generally between 20 to 30 minutes for video length. I think there's only been 2, well, no, maybe 3 cases of me going longer than 32 minutes or something like that. I think one of them was my first. Um, I played a game called Scrutinized, which was a horror game about. I don't even want to talk about it. I can't stand horror games. Don't ask me to play horror games because I might do it if you pressure me enough. I might give in. That and I played Kingdom Come Deliverance too. Those ones, it was kind of hard to find stopping points when I was originally starting those because those were a year ago.
Yeah.
Back to the subject matter at hand because I'm looking at the time and we're already getting there. We haven't even talked about you yet. I've been pretty much dominating the entire conversation. Third
Dominating.
game, shut, shut, shut. The third game I would probably say for me is a tough call, but I would have to say RimWorld. That game is probably number 3 for me because I've dumped a lot of hours into that game too. And that
Yep.
is, yeah. For context on that one too, since I gave context for the rest of them, RimWorld is like a strategy, like colony builder game. So you kind of start out with colonists. You have to get resources to build up buildings. You survive against raids. But that game, like the other two games I mentioned previously, are very moddable. So there is a lot of really cool mods. Currently, right now, I'm doing the a playthrough on there just for my own personal. I'm not like recording it or anything. I started off as like in the era of the Wild West, and we lived through the ages and survived. Like I have to worry about ammo consumption, making weapons, surviving, making food, making sure my people are fed enough, making sure they have enough recreation. And we've currently made it all the way to World War II era. So we started off in the Wild West and now it's World War II
Yeah.
and we're
Because
currently
what ended up
defending.
happening was he kept going against stuff that was too strong for him, so he just had to
Yeah,
had to
there was a
upgrade.
lot of
He wanted to stay in
there's
Wild Wild West the entire time, from what I remember. That's correct, right?
Yeah, I like the Wild West. I like the guns they had and stuff, but I quickly started to realize the more and more we survived, the stronger the people that were attacking us became. And if I did not move up the tech tree reluctantly, my people would not be able to survive many, many more years in that location because eventually the enemy started developing their technologies more than what we had. So I was finding that we were completely under armored, and even though we did have strong weapons, we didn't have. Sorry, I my phone. I got a text message and now lost my train of thought. Give me a second.
It happens.
Even though we were making like powerful weapons for that era of time, that time period, they did not compare to automatic weapons that we were being faced with.
Yeah.
So right now I'm running standard like US infantry kit. So we get the Garands, the M1 carbines, Thompsons, grease guns, BARs, things like that. And so far that worked so much better when we got up to that level of weaponry and armor. My guys don't nearly get shot as much. It's great.
Indeed, indeed.
But I'd say
And
for me personally, those would be my top 3. Vintage Story being first, Arma 3 being second, and RimWorld being third. I'm very curious to see how this changes too, the more episodes we release, because I'm already
yeah.
looking at a couple of my games in my playlist and I'm already thinking about what's next.
Yeah, Wormworld looks really cool. I do want to get started on Wormworld, but for reference on why I know so much about his playthrough, um, I had a rough last semester. I was just swamped in work, and and so when I had free time that I just couldn't, I didn't have the energy to get work done. I would often just sit in the voice channel with Dom, and Dom would screen share the games because I couldn't afford to get started on another game. I could not afford to have anything pull me away from my work like a game would, as I found out with Farming Simulator, which we may or may not get to. But yeah. So I watched a bunch of Dom's playthrough with RimWorld, and that was really cool to watch. So I'm hoping at some point I can play it. Unfortunately, the multiplayer mod we tried using did not end up working as well as we'd hoped because of all the other mods that we were using. But
Yeah, we did try that. It just wasn't. I'm
yeah,
sure if we took a lot more time to fine tune the
the mod
list and
selection,
try and
yeah,
get it to work right, I got to be honest, I don't feel like doing that because I even got rid of some of the mods that I use regularly just so we could try to make it work, and I ain't going any less.
yeah. But yeah, I guess we'll move on to my top three games. Um, well, as far as I just looking here, sorting my collection of 81 Steam games by hours played. Um, Very clearly one stands out by almost 1,000 hours from the second most played game. And that's Space Engineers. I
Yeah.
Space Engineers was the second game I ever got on Steam, and I am now on my third computer that has played Space Engineers. Um, my first one was a refurbished Dell Latitude, and Space Engineers did not really like that hardware, but it somehow still operated until I noticed that my dad was able to see stuff I wasn't because my mom had a better laptop and my dad kept stealing my mom's laptops for video games. And so I was noticing my my dad was able to see stuff I couldn't, and so I was like, oh, I want to see that. So I turned up my graphics and my game crashed immediately. The second I hit apply, I could not open up the game because it would crash on opening.
That's
So
frustrating.
then, that game being one of the only games I played at the time aside from Minecraft, I got a new laptop that could run it. Um, it run might have been a stretch, but it could definitely that game would run at least 30 FPS. Um, I think it ran at 60 FPS at the time, but as Space Engineers got more updates and added more stuff that it wasn't initially designed to support, its performance started going down, especially right around the full release of the game when it got cross-platform compatibility. That hurt the performance a lot. But I put a lot of hours in that game. That game I have 1,460 hours in, and I quite enjoy it. I like it a lot. I actually mostly stopped playing it um, because of college. When I got to college, I stopped I stopped being able to play games quite as much as I had before. I couldn't sustain the interest in gaming, which is part of one of the trends you'll see. I'm not much of a gamer, especially not what it used to be. College just kind of took a lot of that out of me. But I did enjoy Space Engineers a lot, still do. But there's not as many people for me to play it with now, at least not regularly. Dom plays Space Engineers, but we haven't played on his world in a while.
Uh, I haven't. No, last time I opened that game was in April. I
Really, in
played it
April?
for, yeah, I think I played it for like 10 minutes. I got to an asteroid, landed, and was kind of like, yeah, that's enough, and then left.
Yeah, I uh I enjoy playing it, but I enjoy playing it with a purpose. So if I don't have some kind of survival world with friends to contribute to, I just I can't sustain interest for longer than like 5 to 10 minutes in it. And that's a trend with a lot of games. I can no longer sustain interest in most games for longer than 10 or so minutes without other people to play with to give me a reason to continue playing. But that's a lot of fun, and especially with some of the stuff they added recently with the more automation logic, there's a lot of fun stuff you can do. Moving on to my second favorite game. Um, it may not be a huge step actually. I think this may also be my second most played game on Steam, and that is Stormworks with 486 hours. Um, I just really enjoy how in depth it is, making designing all the logic and making the microcontrollers, writing code. I actually have I I currently have three versions of a navigation microcontroller that I put together for Dom and I to use. Um, and the last version is supposed to be a lot better. But I never end up finishing it because it's I still have a GitHub repository to work on it, but I never end up finishing it because we just don't put enough hours in the Stormworks right in around now to make it worth putting more hours in right now. But that's a really fun game. I enjoy the level of detail it has, the depth. Um, that just building games in general. Building games are fun, but especially where I can design systems and do all the logic. That's where my interest is, and that's how I got to where I am, going to college for just finished college for engineering and whatnot. But yeah,
Yeah.
there's that. Um, Now number three is going to be quite difficult because there is a lot of games I find quite interesting. Now the question is, which one is the most interesting? Um, it really is difficult because as I mentioned, it's hard for me to sustain interest in games, and so a lot of my interest in games is either because I get a very short burst of like a week of just intense interest, maybe 2 weeks. Um, and if I don't have more people that are consistently playing with me, that interest is going to go away. Guaranteed. An example of this would be Farming Simulator 25, which was my first version of Farming Simulator I had played since Farming Simulator 18 on the Kindle Fire.
Yeah.
Um, and when I started playing that, I was playing it nearly constantly for 2 weeks, avoiding my schoolwork. Um, and that turned out to not be a good call on my heaviest loaded semester I have had.
I can't imagine why.
It was a lot of fun while it lasted, but felt really bad at the end because of how much I was putting assignments off till the last second. But that was a lot of fun. But again, I was only able to support even those 2 weeks because of playing with friends. Um, that one, the there's not enough building, building and logic and whatnot in it. In my, for like I personally prefer more. I think it's still a fun game, but I personally prefer more logic. A game that has a lot of logic, like logic adjacent stuff, is OpenTTD. I have a lot less hours
Oh
in
God.
OpenTTD, but
Not that
most of my
freaking game.
hours in OpenTTD are consecutive. My first 20 hours in OpenTTD were my first 3 days playing it. I was playing it nearly constantly, and then I stopped playing it 2 hours into a 3 hour lecture when I got called on and mysteriously got an answer correct, but for the wrong reasons, and then decided I should pay attention for the last hour of the lecture. And then I played it again almost an entire year later, so earlier this year, and I put a bunch of hours into it. I still periodically look at it like, man, I really want to continue like improving my strategy and blah blah blah. Like I just logistics is so interesting to me, just like designing stuff. Um, but I just could not. I just can't pull myself to get back into it because I know if I get back into it, I'll probably be stuck in it and not get enough sleep for work. So I I have to be very careful there.
Yeah. On
But
a
that
quick side note,
yeah.
I just pulled up Farming Simulator when you were talking about that one, and apparently they're adding beans and alpacas at some point. July 14th. Oh, it's already added.
Oh.
Oh, no, that was posted July 14th. Sorry. Yeah, they said that
Um.
beans and alpacas are coming to Farming Sim. Yeah, it says new expansion. Beans and alpacas are coming, and that's it.
Oh, new expansion. That I. Yeah, that's dumb. That being said, they did have for a free content update recently. Um, where was it?
Oh, that's not coming till October.
Um,
Ah.
wait. Uh, there. No way. They added emergencies and emergency
Oh, yeah.
response in the that.
Fire trucks.
You know what? We may need to start. We may need to make a video where we
Where we
where we
do a
play around
farming
with it.
sim
I
in the
think that
back.
would actually be pretty fun, where we try to be a emergency response service. That I think that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, I think that'd be great. I wonder how it says there's 10 emergency situations across 4 different scenarios on and around local farmlands. I wonder how often they happen. We may need to still have a farm that we're running. Otherwise, we're just gonna be sitting there waiting. But that I think that'd be interesting. But in when was this again? May 27th, they added more John Deere tractors, and that was interesting to me. I thought that was kind of cool, but I couldn't get myself to open back up the game just to look at them. I didn't want to get sucked into the game again. Not without another person to play with. But yeah, that's you know what? It may just have to be Farming Simulator may just have to be the second, the third, um, third favorite game right now at least. Because
Yeah.
I'm looking at a bunch of these other games. I have a lot of games on my Steam list that are like, oh, it's cheap and interesting, or it's free. I'll just throw that on my list, and then we can, see if it's something I'm interested in, or see if it's something that we can play as a group. Um, but yeah, I don't have a heck of a lot. Um, so it's probably Farming Simulator. The only other game that might come close isn't on Steam. Oh, you know what? This is an interesting battle because it have to be between Farming Simulator, Vintage Story, and Minecraft. Because Farming Simulator, I think I do enjoy that. Vintage Story has a lot of depth. I really enjoy its level of detail. Um,
Yeah.
but one of the benefits of Minecraft, and we'll talk more about this in a later episode.
I think you
One of
meant
the
other
benefits of
block game, but go ahead.
okay, whatever you say. One of the benefits of Minecraft is I know how to mod it. Um, and I have actually done a lot of modding of it. Now, you may think, Java, right? No, nope. I mod only Bedrock. I've done a little bit of modding of Java quite a while ago, but I mod Bedrock for that way we can support cross-platform compatible servers here on lower class citizens. Um, but I'm not the only one in this community that does modding for Minecraft Bedrock, and we'll have more to talk about in future episodes because there is some interesting stuff going on that um, we would like to tell you about at a later time. But yeah, I think it's hard to choose one at this time. If I'm just gonna pick a game to play it, probably Vintage Story, uh, particularly because I actually have someone to play that with right now because Dom's spending a lot of time on that one. Um, but yeah, there's some games like Minecraft. Most of my enjoyment right now comes from supporting it for everyone here on Lower Class Citizens, as well as making doing the modding stuff. And Farming Simulator is fun, but I definitely don't have much for people to play with on it right now, until Dom and I get started on our emergency response team. But yeah, so I think that's gonna have to be my list. I think it's gonna have to be Vintage Story as my third one. Um, Now our third person still is not here. I cannot believe that it has taken him this long to not even be here. The episode's supposed to be over right now, isn't it? That Dom, that was the question.
Huh? Sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Dom over here spacing out during his own episode. Um,
I would listen. I have no excuse. I was completely not paying attention.
yeah,
Go
our
ahead.
guest is not here even 5 minutes after the episode's supposed to finish.
Yes, I noticed.
Yeah, kind of crazy. Although I guess we started late, so actually we have another 3 minutes left in the recording. Um,
That's true, yeah.
yeah. So um, we're gonna get to this on the next episode if Elijah actually joins us. There we go. Hi, I said his name. We'll see if he
Mhm.
actually arrives. Probably not. But we predicted that Elijah would note Tarkov as one of his favorite video games, which is why he was going to go last because that leads us into our next topic. Elijah has been playing way too much Tarkov lately, and we thought it'd be a funny topic having him explain himself.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh,
you know,
also another side note. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, my bad.
oh good, okay,
It's just something that popped into my head because I know the question is probably coming because I get the question from my friends. I've gotten the question from other viewers of my personal YouTube channel. I pronounce it Taxemic Germ 38. You can pronounce it however you please, but that is how I, the creator of said name, pronounce it.
yeah,
Sorry, I know that's completely unrelated to everything we've been talking about, but that was
very, but that you'll understand when you look in the video description. But
yeah.
yeah,
Go ahead
Elijah will
again.
need
I'm
to
sorry.
explain himself for all the hours he's putting into Tarkov. If like, I'll give this one bit of context, and then we'll put that topic down for next episode when Elijah is actually here to join us because I don't want to get too far without him. But he has had the game for a little bit over a month and a half, and has 260 hours in it. Just in the last 2 weeks, he has almost 100 hours. He's been playing this game basically full time, but he has a full time job alongside. I This cannot be good for his mental health. But anyways, there's people concerned. He says it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it, but we'll get to that more in a future episode. Um, Yeah, and I guess this gets to another thing that I forgot to bring up for our and moving on to the next topic. Oh, actually, hold up. I've been forgetting to switch our topics. Hold up. I need I'm gonna now switch us to our last topic. We skipped a couple topics on our thing. I'm gonna have to get better about that. But we're now on to our last topic. Our last topic. Okay. So some hobbies. Now for reference, I forgot to say this earlier, but the lower class content podcast, the big thing is we're mostly gonna be talking about our hobbies, stuff that relates to server, that kind of stuff. Um, some days we may be focusing on video games. Some days we may be focusing on our other offline hobbies. Some days about what is the stuff that lower class citizens are doing. But the general gist is what are our interests? That's going to be the thing that ties everything together. So we're gonna. Uh, the plan is for next episode to focus a bit more on our hobbies. But what is what would you say is one of your primary hobbies, your primary hobbies interests?
Um, I have a lot of different kinds of hobbies. Obviously, the first and most predominant one would be video games, because that's I spend the majority of my time doing that. I do, however, also dabble with electric guitar. I guess you could call that a hobby.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
that guitar stuff's pretty cool. There's we may end up having to have an episode where where he talks a bit more about that because that he's been telling me a bit about some of his guitar hobby and I think it's quite interesting. Um, I'm not sure. I know you've been uh, learning some songs on the guitar. I'm not sure how much we can play before we get copyright striked, but or by we I mean you. But
I guarantee you, it's not good enough to get copyright struck. Sorry.
well, that's what you think. The auto mod might think a bit different, but yeah, we'll at least one of these days we'll look at that. I think that's quite cool, quite interesting. Um, but yeah. Um, and for my hobbies, I mean, my primary stuff is just designing. As you can kind of got idea for in the games I'm interested in, just being able to design stuff, I think is very interesting. That's how I got into uh, the area of education work that I got into. And yeah, I just enjoy when I get to have a problem and find a way to solve it, whether it's a logistical problem, an engineering design problem, whatever it is. I think you know solving problems is interesting to me. Uh, and it doesn't. I don't have a lot of particular like oh, it has to be this, it has to be this. I enjoy programming, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, um, logistics stuff. Like I have a wide variety of stuff I find interesting, and so I do a bit of everything. Um, primarily, the I have done a lot of work in the past with mechanical stuff, and I've been ramping up my programming stuff. With electrical, I haven't done as much in my personal projects and hobby work. Uh, but I have ended up, especially in the last few years, doing a lot of electrical uh, for my job stuff, job related work, and classwork. I've done a lot of electrical for that stuff, as well as in the last few months, I determined what my first personal electrical projects are going to be, which at some point we may talk about some of those, but at this time, uh, this episode is 4 minutes over. So,
Indeed.
do you have anything to add before we finish up?
Nah,
Yeah.
I don't
Okay.
think so.
Checks out. So, we will see you guys next week. If you have any feedback, any ideas, whatever it is, send it in the comments, and hopefully we'll get to a schedule where we are uploading on Thursdays. Hopefully more people will be joining us and they don't ditch us, after saying very enthusiastically that they're going to join us, like someone did today. But yeah, we'll see how things go, and thank you for especially if you made all the way to this point. Thank you for joining us and sticking through our first episode. And I guess I don't think necessarily supporting us a lot. I'm not sure how much it matters at this point because we just started this channel. But thank you for giving us views, sitting through this, and hopefully enjoying the content. You can
That's
let us know.
optional. I
You
That's
can let us
optional.
know in the feedback. But at least if we got to be something in the background to keep your mind, processing something like how I listen to podcasts. I guess we did our job.
Yeah,
uh,
it's never.
yep, yep,
Then go on, continue. Don't listen to
yep.
me.
This has been the Laura Class Content Podcast. I have been one of the co-hosts, Keith, and the other co-host.
Oh, is that my cue again?
That's your cue
I'll
again. Yeah.
I'll get it. I'll get it eventually. Anyway, this is Dominic. It's Dom. Have a good one, guys.
See you later.